You can master fluent English conversation in just 4 lessons. In this session, I'm going to share with you some powerful ideas from the book, The Art of Small Talk. You'll learn techniques that you can use right away to quickly improve your English conversation skills. Deborah Fine has created 4 valuable lessons to really boost your conversation skills. Learn and master all 4 lessons, and you will make conversation into a superpower. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Herbert Lee. I've been an English teacher for over 15 years. When I first started teaching English, I was shocked to find students struggling to have even basic conversations in English. And it wasn't for a lack of effort or study. Most of them had studied English in school for many years. Some had even taken English conversation classes. Still, they couldn't carry an English conversation beyond a few simple sentences. So I did extensive research and discovered that most English conversation classes used basically the same materials. These materials taught students some new vocabulary, shared some interesting phrases, and then practiced using the words and phrases in practice conversations. The English conversation class actually taught a lot of English and almost nothing about actual conversation skills. So I decided to create something that would help students master English conversation. My research uncovered a lot of materials based on the science of conversation. Surprisingly, these techniques were not taught in traditional English learning. Fortunately, the place where I was teaching allowed me to develop courses in my own way. So I took all this new information and created the Power Conversation Skills course. This course was fully subscribed every time it was offered. Students told their friends, and the course frequency was increased. The methods I had developed from my research were really effective. One of the books that I used to develop the course was The Art of Small Talk by Deborah Fine. I highly recommend this book to anyone who wants to seriously learn the art of small talk. You can read the book in 3 to 4 hours and learn a lot. However, in today's video, I'll be sharing the 4 valuable lessons of this book to help anyone who has struggled to master fluent English conversation. It's a real shortcut to improving your conversation skills. Watch the entire video if you want to get the best results. It will be a lot faster and easier than spending hours reading the book and trying to figure out what to do. Let's get started. Have you ever watched a masterful social butterfly in action? They effortlessly work a room, leaving everyone they encounter feeling flattered, charmed, and energized. Communications expert Deborah Fine thoroughly researched these golden few extroverts while hiding in the corners of various business functions. She then asked, researched, and answered the question, how do they do it? In her book, The Fine Art of Small Talk, Fine shares the secrets of how to introduce yourself, make a connection, and initiate and sustain a meaningful conversation. She offers techniques for developing active listening skills, getting referrals, avoiding awkward moments, and even surviving a first date. She provides lists of conversation starters, icebreakers, and follow-up questions. So now let's look at the valuable lessons from her book, The Fine Art of Small Talk. Many of us dread small talk, whether it's during an elevator ride or at a company get-together. However, these brief interactions have more potential than you may realize. They can lead to important business connections, lasting friendships, and even romantic relationships. It's time to reconsider the value of these everyday encounters and learn how to make the most of them. First, you need to understand the importance of small talk. Small talk often gets a bad reputation. Many people dismiss it as superficial or unimportant. But in truth, small talk serves several crucial functions in our social lives. It's an icebreaker that eases us into more substantive conversations. It helps establish common ground and build rapport. It can lead to unexpected connections and opportunities. It's a kind of social lubricant, a kind of grease that makes interactions smoother and more comfortable. Think of small talk as the appetizer before the main course of deeper conversation. It may seem light, but it sets the stage for everything that follows. By mastering small talk, you're not just filling awkward silences, you're laying the groundwork for meaningful connections. In her book, The Fine Art of Small Talk, Deborah Fine shares her journey from a shy, overweight engineer to becoming a confident communicator. She proves that being shy isn't a permanent state and that anyone can develop excellent conversation skills. This video will share the important lessons from Fine's book, helping you overcome your fears and become a small talk expert. Watch and learn these lessons and then apply them. You will be amazed at how quickly you can improve. Many people feel anxious about making small talk, especially with strangers. This anxiety often stems from a fear of awkward silences, worry about saying the wrong thing, feeling like you have nothing interesting to contribute. You have general social anxiety. To help you overcome these fears, just remember that most people are just as nervous as you are. Practice does make perfect. The more you engage in small talk, the more comfortable you'll become. Focus on being curious about others rather than worrying about your own performance. Let's start with lesson number 1, taking charge of conversations. The first step in improving your small talk skills is recognizing that you are in control. Starting a conversation with strangers may seem scary, but it's a fear shared by many. In fact, it's the second biggest social fear for many people. Here are some strategies to help you take charge. Let go of the fear of rejection. Remember, most people appreciate when someone makes an effort to start a conversation, even if it's a bit awkward at first. Here's how to make a good first impression. Maintain eye contact, smile, and offer a handshake when introducing yourself. These simple gestures will help break the ice and make the interaction feel more natural. Practice introducing yourself. Now, it may sound and feel a bit strange at first, but rehearsing your introduction can boost your confidence in real-life conversations. Learn to remember names. Make a conscious effort to remember people's names when they introduce themselves. This shows respect and builds rapport. Learn to avoid seeming aloof. Not engaging in small talk can sometimes be interpreted as a form of arrogance. Don't miss out on potential connections by being silent. Lesson number 2, preparing effective questions. Having a set of prepared questions can significantly improve your conversations. Here are some tips for crafting and using effective questions. Use open-ended questions. Avoid questions that can be answered with a simple yes, no, or good. Instead, ask questions that encourage more detailed responses. The quality of your questions can make or break a small talk interaction. Open-ended questions are your secret weapon for stimulating engaging conversations. Unlike yes or no questions, open-ended questions invite the other person to share more detailed responses. For example, instead of, "Did you have a good weekend?" try using, "What was the highlight of your weekend?" Instead of, "Do you like your job?" try using, "What's the most interesting part of your work?" Some other great open-ended questions for small talk might be, "What brings you to this event?" "How did you get started in your occupation?" "What's keeping you busy these days?" "What's the best book you've ever read?" Remember to tailor your questions to the context and the person you're speaking with. The goal is to invite them to share more about themselves and their experiences. Learn to use the FORM, F-O-R-M, acronym. This stands for Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Motivation. These topics provide a wide range of conversation starters. Learn to be observant. Look for conversation cues in your surroundings, people's attire, or the event you're attending. These can provide natural paths into interesting discussions. Remember to avoid controversial topics. Steer clear of gossip, personal misfortunes, or divisive subjects, especially with new and casual acquaintances. These can leave a negative impression. Try to respect boundaries. Be respectful of how deep you can delve into personal topics, particularly with people you've just met and you don't know very well. If you are enjoying this session and would like to know more about how to improve your conversation skills quickly, get a copy of my research report, 5 Biggest Mistakes in English Conversation. I've done extensive research into the art and science of effective conversation. If you want to improve your conversation skills quickly, you need to get this report. Just go to the link in the description below to get your copy. I know you're going to enjoy the report. Put these ideas into action and watch your conversation skills skyrocket. Now, back to the lessons from the art of small talk. Lesson number 3 is the art of listening. Effective communication isn't just about speaking. It's also about listening. Here's how to become a better listener. Show your listening through your body language. Maintain eye contact, nod, smile, and lean in slightly to demonstrate your engagement. Remember, avoid distractions. Give the other speaker your full attention. Don't multitask or let your mind wander. Use verbal cues. Respond with enthusiasm about interesting details, or ask follow-up questions to show you're actively listening. Don't interrupt. Allow the speaker to finish their thoughts before responding. It's a really bad habit to interject with "my opinion." Practice paraphrasing. Summarize what the speaker has said to ensure understanding and show that you've been paying attention. By becoming a better listener, you're not only making others feel valued and heard, but you'll also gather more information to keep the conversation flowing naturally. Finally, lesson number 4, overcoming shyness and building confidence. Many people believe that shyness is a fixed trait, but this isn't true. Your mind is more adaptable than you think. So here are some strategies to help you overcome shyness and build confidence in social situations. First, start small. Begin by practicing small talk in low-pressure situations, like a cashier at the supermarket or with a neighbor. Set some realistic goals. Don't expect to become a social butterfly overnight. Set small, achievable goals for each social interaction. Challenge negative thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking negatively about social situations, challenge those thoughts with more realistic ones. Prepare some conversation topics. Having a few topics in mind can help you feel more prepared and less anxious about potential awkward silences. Reward yourself. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. This positive reinforcement can help build your confidence over time. Now, here's a very important idea. Learn the art of graceful exits. Knowing how to end a conversation politely is just as important as starting one. Some strategies for graceful exits include summarizing the conversation positively. It's been great chatting about our shared love of hiking. Expressing gratitude. Thanks so much for sharing your insights on the industry. Mentioning a prior commitment. I need to catch up with a colleague, but I've really enjoyed our conversation. Exchanging contact information if you'd like to continue the connection. Always end on a positive note, even if the conversation wasn't particularly engaging. Practice makes perfect. Like any skill, small talk improves with practice. Here are a few more ways to hone your abilities. Set small goals, like striking up a conversation with one new person every day. Practice with low-risk interactions. Cashiers, waitstaff, your colleagues at work. Role-play scenarios with friends or family. Attend networking events or social gatherings to challenge yourself. Reflect on your conversations afterwards and identify areas for improvement. Remember, even the most seasoned conversationalists had to start somewhere. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories as you progress. Putting it all together. Now that you've learned these valuable skills, it's time to put them into practice. Here's a step-by-step guide to navigating your next social interaction. Learn to initiate a conversation. Approach the person with a smile and introduce yourself. Start with a simple question. Use one of your prepared open-ended questions to get the conversation flowing. Listen actively. Pay attention to their response, maintaining eye contact and using appropriate body language. Follow up. Based on their answers, ask a related question or share a relevant anecdote of your own. Be genuine. Show real interest in what the other person is saying. Authentic engagement is the key to meaningful conversations. Know when to wrap it up. Be mindful of social cues that indicate when it's time to end the conversation. Finally, end on a positive note. Thank the person for the conversation and, if appropriate, express interest in talking again in the future. Remember, becoming skilled at small talk takes practice. Don't be discouraged if your first attempts feel awkward or don't go exactly as you plan. With time and persistence, you'll find yourself becoming more comfortable and confident in social situations. The ability to engage in meaningful small talk can open doors to new opportunities, relationships, and experiences. So take that first step, strike up a conversation, and see where it leads you. If you like this session and would like to know more about how to improve your conversation skills quickly, get a copy of my research report, 5 Biggest Mistakes in English Conversation. I've done extensive research into the art and science of effective conversation. If you want to improve your conversation skills quickly, you need to get this report. Just go to the link in the description below to get your copy. I know you're going to enjoy the report. Put it into action and watch your conversation skills skyrocket. It's Herbert Lee signing off. Enjoy your conversation journey and see you again soon.